the cloud, Marcia? All right, let's start that over. So the awards program opened on Monday, June 2nd. The first deadline is August 1st. And that is an early bird. You get a discounted rate. I think the rate is $175. Your entry has to be complete and submitted by 5 o'clock on August 1st in order to get that discounted rate. You can't just go in and start an entry. And the reason for that discount is that at the end of the program, we have so many entries that we have to review before sending them to judging. So this is just a little incentive to help the staff to get those projects in early. So you have to not only start the process, but you have to fully complete the entry by that date in order to get that early bird discount. The final deadline is September 5th, which is a Friday at 5. Team partner entries, we are having those again this year. They're $125 per team partner per entry. So, and then that gives the entrant, the primary entrant, a $25 credit. I'll give an example. Lane Homes and Remodeling last year had a ton of team partners. They actually helped us recruit some new pro members who wanted to participate in the program. And they, I think, may have even paid for their entire gala table with the credits that they received from team partners. So I highly recommend considering who you can include as a team partner. Team partners can be any trade or specialty contractor that helped with your project. They can also be any associate members that you purchased goods or services from. So if you used a tile company in the area to get your tile products, or a granite manufacturer or fabricator, each one of those can be listed as a team partner on your project. We encourage you to get their approval ahead of time and then fill out the team partner form. The staff will confirm with them that they are interested in participating on your project. We will invoice them separately. Stacy, do you have any questions about team partner?
So the team partner has to be a member of Pro or wants to join Pro.
Yes, they have to be a member. And so if we, there's a field in the program too that says other organizations. If you're not sure if they're a member, like Lane Homes last year, they gave us a vendor list for each of their projects and gave us the green light to go after them. So that was a really great way for us to recruit more fabulous pro members who are trades or associates. So if they aren't currently a member, we will be working with them up until the week of the gala to get them approved so they can receive that award as well. And a big question that people have is, okay, as a team partner, what do I get? Is it the same as what the primary entrant gets? So our primary entrant is the person, or I mean, sorry, the company, the member company that had complete oversight of the project. Okay, that's your general contractor who is, pulling the permit and is in charge of that project. They're having your project win.
Did she freeze for everybody, or was that just for me?
Did I freeze?
Everybody froze. Everybody froze at one time for me. So
Okay.
I don't know.
If it happens again, I will move into our conference room where my reception may be better. So what part of that, Marcia, do you think, what was the last thing you heard?
I believe so. You had just mentioned team partners being. Does anybody want to help me out? I know she talked about team partners needing to be members.
Well, you're talking about Lane Homes, and they a little bit further past that.
Okay,
they
so
were a fabulous way to reach out. And
right. So they gave us their vendor list. We work with those companies that they shared, and we were able to get them applying and approved for membership behind the scenes while we were working toward the gala in November. So our goal is to, bring them on and help them get approved for membership in time to participate. So again, those team partners or anyone who helped make that project award worthy. So your drafts people, your designer, your electricians, plumber, automation companies, whoever. Now, automation companies can also be a primary entrant because they take on, there's a home automation category. They could be a primary entrant and they could be a team partner. So if you're uncertain as to what your role should be or how you should be entered on a project, just reach out to me and I can help you with that. Are there any the other thing we were covering is what do you get as a team partner? So our team partners are recognized at our gala. They are recognized if you win a grand award. They're recognized in our home magazine, in our, I'd call it an editorial coverage. Kate, what's the word for that? You're muted.
I think the editorial coverage is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a large spread in Richmond Magazine and Our Home, and those grand award winners and team partners are mentioned there. On our website, we have a photo gallery of past winners. You could go to the website and I'll show you in a few moments where to go. And you could see past winners and the team partners. And they get the exact award trophy, for lack of a better word, that the primary entrant gets. So if you win a grand, you get the bigger award. If you win a merit, there's a medium-sized award. So we try to make sure that everybody understands we value and appreciate you for all that you do to make that project award-winning. All right. Any questions on primary entrant and team partners? Deborah?
So Angela, this was just one aspect, and I think you may have touched on it, but I just want to maybe iterate this back. But first of all, welcome Meg, welcome Stephen. They're newbies.
Oh, great. Hi.
So I wanted to just to reiterate the fact that if you are an entrant and you do decide to use team partners, which we're very excited when those are listed. We really ask that you make sure that the team partners, if they are not members, they're kind of aware of what you're doing, that you're adding them on this project list, and that maybe a little bit about Pro, and that to expect maybe a phone call from someone, a staff member at Pro. It's just easier, for that warm introduction than for me to kind of call and they're clueless as to what they've been listed on and what's going on. So it makes it a little bit more of a warmer introduction for the staff to reach out to the non-member team partners. So that was it.
Thank you. Any other questions about primary entrants and team partners and what's the difference? And if you have questions after this, I'm going to put or I'll ask one of the staff members to put my email, and I would use the Pro email and my cell number in the chat. And that way, if anyone has questions after, you can reach out to me at any time. All right. So here we.
Can I make one comment?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is maybe for the members who are both potential team partners as well as entrants, but we do have something called the Team Partner of the Year Award. And that, Angela, can correct me if I'm wrong, that goes to the team partner who is included on the most entries, correct?
Right. You don't have to win the most, but you have to be included in the most. And the other wonderful thing about including team partners, so say, for example, I'm just going to pick on Lane again, your Lane Homes. And last year they had umpteen team partners. Well, when they won an award, not only were they advertising and marketing that award on social media and things, so were their team partners. So you get all of that extra coverage and recognition for those awards. So I can't really speak to the importance of team partners enough. It is really very important. And it's a feel-good moment when you're sitting there together in a room and receiving these awards. There's a lot of website looks a lot like ours, and we don't want you entering their program. So procentralva.org. Then here under the awards tab, you can see a few links there. This is where you're going to go to enter. If you would like to, I think I mentioned that you could look at last year's entrants or get winners here, and you will see a gallery of those. And then if you wanted to see who the team partners were, you just click here and you can see all of those wonderful team partners. So Kate does a really nice job capturing all of that. But for today, we're ready to enter. And so I'm coming to this Enter the Pro Awards webpage. And hopefully everything you need is right here. Here are all your deadlines and price points, even information on that team partner entry fee. We talk about which forms are required. I'm going to first click into this link here. These are all the guidelines and required forms. So on our Google Drive page, everything you need should be right here for you. We have the complete rules and guidelines, the category list, the required forms, which is your contractor and homeowner release form. One piece of advice, do not go any further than right here if you haven't at least gotten verbal confirmation from your homeowner that they will allow you to enter their home in an awards program. You can assure them, and it states this clearly in this consent and affidavit, that their identity and their home address and things like that are not advertised or shared, that it's kept confidential. But some people do not want their home out there on award sites, or, some people are just more private. So we had a problem with this last year. Someone went through a great deal of pain to get their entry together, and the homeowner was not okay with it. So the photo release, even if you own the photos as a company, you still have to complete and sign allowing us to use those photos. Same with the contractor. If it is your home and your company did the renovations, then you still have to complete both sections of that contractor homeowner form. Oh, sorry, that's very loud. Don't know how to turn that down. And then the team partner entry form, this is only required if you are having team partners participate. This year, we have new judging criteria. As an entrant, what I recommend doing is literally printing this off and making sure that you have slides in your presentation, which we'll go over later, that clearly address each one of these judging criteria, and you answer it fully in your presentation. If you're one of the categories, like maybe it's an interior element and something isn't really as applicable because that's a small, teeny portion of a renovation project, you may not have to have a slide for each one of them. And some of these, the judges each project is judged by the same 3 judges in a panel. So if we're looking at a project category, say it's baths over 50, each project in that category is judged by the same 3 judges. Therefore, if there is a judge that really is a hard judge, each project is judged by that hard judge, and if there's a judge that's more lenient, each project in that category is judged by the lenient judge. So, and some of these will apply more to certain categories than others, but we really appreciate all the help that our members gave us this year to update our judging criteria and make it even better this year. So we're really excited about that. This document here is if you are entering the universal design category, this is a spreadsheet that will actually allow you to complete that spreadsheet, and it will calculate scores based on the number of universal design modifications that you made to the home, but that is only required for that universal design category. Green project, same thing. There is a green project criteria sheet in here. It's an Excel document. if you had a project, no matter what category, that was a green project and you want a green designation in addition to just winning the award for that category, then you would submit this form here. And then Marcia, who is new to the program, realized that this is overwhelming, even for a staff member. So she created this wonderful checklist, forms, and quick links guide. I would say this is absolutely your most important thing here, everything you need in one stop. So even the link to access the entry platform. So it tells you which forms are required, which ones are conditional, and then all these other things, and then a cute little checklist here for all the things that you should do as you get started with your entry. And my information is here. You can contact me anytime. All right, so I'm going back over. Any questions so far on the documents, where to find them? I'm doing the awkward pause for people to unmute. Okay, so now I can access the entry platform from either the website or Marcia's fabulous checklist. So I'm going to come from here, and this is I'm confirming Pro Central Virginia Awards platform, which looks identical to what we used when we were with Pro Mid-Atlantic. There are a few slight changes. Let it catch up with me. Sorry, folks. Are y'all all there? It's very quiet.
I'm
Hello.
here, Angela.
I'm here as well. I
Did
was
you see
just
my
muted.
face? I'm like, they're gone. I've lost them. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why this is taking so long.
Is there an easy comprehensive list showing the different categories we could apply to?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Hello. Good question. Look at you. The category list is right here. It's the second document, and it shows all of the categories. So here the interior, under 150 and over. So there's two different categories in the interiors. Interior, exterior element, that's a teeny little element of a project. Maybe it's a beautiful tile work or masonry or a kitchen hood that's incredible. I've had a door entered in that before, like an entry door that was just beautiful and really set off that front entryway. Residential kitchen, there are 3 price points under 100. 100 to 200, over 200, residential bath, and the 3 price points, entire house, new custom home. And if we get multiple new custom homes and they're really different in square footage, we might break that into 2 different categories depending on the number of entries and how unfair it might be for a smaller square footage home to be compared to a larger square footage home. And residential addition, detached structure, exterior under and over 100, commercial, home automation, entertainment and media, creative solutions, and then residential landscape design, outdoor living, historic, and universal design. And what I would say is read these descriptions carefully. If you have any questions about the category that is most appropriate for your project, I've been doing this for like 12 years now. I can guide you on that easily because it does get a little confusing. And if you're doing a basement, we do not have a basements category because housing in Richmond, basements are limited. So it would be a part of an interior project. One thing to note too, your kitchen and bathroom projects, if there is adjacent space that is a part of that, you would need to enter that in an interior category. So say I have a kitchen and a mudroom that's side by side, and I want the judges to look at both of those together, that could be an interior. Or I could say, nope, I just want you to focus on the kitchen. Here's the kitchen and all the details about that. I break out the pricing and costs for just the kitchen, and that's its own entry. You could do it in both categories. Here's the kitchen and the mudroom combined in the interior with the appropriate price point, or just the kitchen. Same with an entire house. You could take an entire house project, enter it in entire house, and then break out sections of it into the categories that match whatever that section is. Maybe you want the automation in the automation category. Maybe there's a really cool organizational feature or an interior element or a kitchen. You can break that out, but you have to break out the cost for that portion of the project. And when you go through the guidelines here, it gives you some tips for making your entry successful. It gives you do's and don'ts in your presentation. For example, you have to include the project cost in your presentation on the first slide. You will save your presentation in a Google Drive or Dropbox or some sort of cloud storage platform. The presentation is the only thing the judges see, so nothing about that presentation can identify the client or the company or entrant or team partners. There can be no identifying information in that PDF presentation. I recommend using something like PowerPoint or Canva to create that presentation. And I will show you when we get into the platform what I mean by making sure it's unrestricted and how to make sure your link to your presentation is unrestricted. But this here is just a wealth of information, and it goes through all sorts of do's and don'ts. Another thing, cost, it is clearly defined in here and in this section here. However, we want you to realize that the project cost does not include design fees. What we found for years was that our design build firms were including those. Our contractors that were not design build and who outsourced those designs were not including them. So we were not comparing apples to apples when we were judging. Your project date range the project has to be within the last 3 years as of August 1st. So you can go all the way back to August 1st, 2022. If you entered a project last year or in those past 3 years and it did not win in our local competition, you can re-enter the project this year. I recommend at least trying to look back at any judges' notes or comments, or getting someone to kind of look at that and help you make sure that you've answered the new judging criteria, but you are eligible to win. Let's see here. Team partners we've covered. Non-member companies can be entered. The PDF presentation can be up to 30 pages. However, I will tell you, if you submit a 30-page presentation, the judge's eyes are going to gloss over. I'm going to show you some examples of concise, effective presentation styles when we get into the platform. You are going to be asked for a brief statement. Hey, Kate, can you make a note that the guidelines gets cut off here on page, I'm not even sure what page that is.
I was just looking at that.
Second page, and we'll fix that and get the new one uploaded.
Yep.
I will get into more of this detail of what's a project statement might have when we get into the system or the platform. Again, don't include the company names or client names, any individual names in your PDF presentation, or the file name. If you are using a photo, sometimes you did not capture a before photo of the project. That's okay. Maybe the homeowner has one, and maybe they're even in it. You could do something, put a little smiley face or a little block over there. You could save it into a Canva file, put something over it so you're not identifying any person, but you could use that before photo just so the judges have a good idea of what the space looked like prior to your renovation. Our judges do have the right to disqualify, adjust a category, or deduct points from any entry that doesn't follow these rules. We have a team that we will have reviewing projects, and we do our best to make sure that everything There's nothing that identifies the company or the homeowner, but we take no responsibility for that. Like we are going to do a good job and try to review it for you. And I've caught some things, like I've had a PDF presentation was fabulous. Got to the last slide and had team photo. So cute, but no. So we'll do our best to help you to make sure it's in the right category and there's nothing identifying, but ultimately that is on you to do. And some things do slip through the cracks. Here are photograph and presentation, more tips there and what types of photographs you'll need. And we'll get into that in more detail inside the platform. And again, it talks about our judging procedures here in the guidelines and rules. That is a lot. Everybody okay? Okay, so as I mentioned, when you're on the website, you come here and you hit the start entry, or you could be in the checklist and click to access the entry platform. And then I would bookmark it. This platform is brand new. Even if you entered last year, we were on the Pro Mid-Atlantic platform. This is our own platform now that we operate independently. So you will come here, and the first thing it's going to tell you to do is come down and register to start your entry. Unfortunately, I'm already logged in, so you won't see, but there will be a little area here to either sign in or to register for the first time. When you register, I recommend using the email address that the company might use year over year over year for entering projects. If you have 2 designers on your team and they are going to be entering separately, then they could each have their own login, or you could have one company login that they share. That is up to you as a company. Again, here are all of those forms, a link right in the platform to all of those forms. It takes you right back over to where we were before. And then deadlines and contact information. So now I'm ready to get started. And when I click and sign in, it's mine looks a little different because I'm a manager, a judge, and an entrant. So I'm going to come over to the Enter tab, and this is what you'll see once you get signed in. Again, program information, we're shoving it down your throats. And here are my 2 entries. And so I'm going to start and go through what the platform will look like and what you will see on each tab. And then I will answer questions as we go. So here's my entry that I'm going to be working in today. When you come in, the entries that you've started will be saved. And once you've submit them, you can still come back in and edit them until the portal closes on September 5th at 5 o'clock. So when you come in, you will only see this category, the category list, and you will not see anything from here down until you come in and choose. I'm participating in the Central Virginia Remodeler of the Year Awards. And then here, it lets you see all the different categories. And I need to review to make sure this was a category and somehow it has been wiped out in the system. So I need to, Marcia, will you make a note to figure out what category is missing with this NTA? Something happened when they did the last migration. Some of our categories and fields got messed up. So when you choose a category, right under there, the project, the category description comes in just to help you again. Again, here's that category list. So if I'm in here and I want to be able to see the category list to look at alternative categories, I can click on that and open that document. So I'm choosing Bath 50 to 100. My company name is Hubbard Remodeling, LLC. The second time I enter it here, it's asking me, verify the exact spelling and punctuation of your company name. We are going to print this on awards. We're going to print it in Richmond Magazine and Our Home Magazine. We want your company name to look exactly as you want it to. If there's a portion of your company name that's all capitals, please let us put it in there. If there is a punctuation, if you want the LLC, maybe you don't want the LLC, but these 2 should match. And if they don't, when I'm reviewing things, I'm going to reach out and verify again, to find out how you want to be noted. And then finally, not finally, here you check off to say, I have read and and agree to adhere to the rules and guidelines. Here are those rules and guidelines once again for you to access them. I'm putting in my project cost. If I try to put in something like a $ and click out of it, it was giving me a, I think it will make me come back to that. So just put in the number only. Use numerals and commas only, nothing else. And of course, round to the nearest dollar. Construction cost is the contract price, all extras, change orders, fair market value of materials and products that were purchased, sweat equity, in-kind services, and any subcontracted work. The cost of all homeowner provided products and services or labor that they provided should also be estimated and included in cost. And all markups and profit should be included in the cost as well. If it is a member-owned project, costs should include normal markups as if the project was being contracted to an outside client. We want to make sure that each of the houses or projects that we're comparing are fairly in the category they're supposed to be in, and we're comparing apples to apples when it comes to price points. But again, the design fees are not in there. Kate, will you make a note to update the portal so that project cost has a asterisk and a note about design fees? And I can go in and fix that. The final thing on the first tab, which is your Start Here tab, is a short phrase to describe your project. It can be anything. In DC, there was a beautiful little ranch that was turned into like this Frank Lloyd Wright project. So this was an actual title, Frank Lloyd Wright facelift. I also had a one that was a tale of two toothbrushes, and it got picked up by a magazine because they loved that. It was a story, or the project showcased a bathroom that had a his and her sink, and his and her features. So each side was a little different. So it was like literally the project was told through the eyes of the toothbrushes. It was hilarious. You don't have to be that creative, but just wanted to give you what's going on. I'm going to say save and next and go to the next, which is the company information tab. We want your company address. The primary contact, entry contact. So I'll give an example again. Lane Homes and Remodeling enters every year. Cooper is my contact. I don't contact Edward about anything awards related because he would be like, Angela, why are you contacting me? So the primary entrant contact on this project, who should we contact? You could log in to the same portal with one login, but this might be one staff member or one designer or the other, depending on the project. And then primary contact email and phone number. Once you save here, I recommend if you have multiple entries that you do this little trick, okay? I don't want to get into the project details or all of this. So I'm going to come back to, to my entries, and here you can see my test. Well, I'm going to do several entries. I'm also going to do a kitchen. So I'm going to copy this, save myself all that time of redoing all of that. And I'm going to come here to the copy. I'm going to get rid of the word copy down here, but I'm going to choose my kitchen category. I'm going to do kitchen 100 to 200. And then I'm going to edit this to take that out. And everything else is in here. I'm going to update the kitchen cost for this one. Can't remember what the price point was that I chose, but $150,000 kitchen right here. And then I'm going to change this kitchen, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and save and next. All of this information remains the same, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe now this is Kate. This is Kate's project that she's putting in as a designer. So she's the primary contact, and all of this may change. And now I'm ready to go to the next screen. I'm going to actually go back though to my other entry because it was cuter. There's my bath, okay? So now you see all of my entries are right there for me to mess with. So now I'm ready to come over to project details. Here, I'm asked to give a 100-word or less summary of the presentation. This summary will be used for numerous things. One, we take excerpts from it for our script when we're presenting the awards. We like to tell the story of the project. So here, this is a bathroom, Tale of Two Toothbrushes, inspired by their honeymoon escape to Santorini. These two homeowners wanted a bathroom that blended romance with functionality. I put this in Chat GPT, people, and I was like, I need a fun narrative for a project, Tale of Two Bathrooms. So you could put in key things and let Chat GPT write your 100-word summary about your project. This is where you can identify, maybe you had an architect who, or something that was unique and special about this project. This is where you want to really focus on that to help the sometimes magazines or publications will ask us if we have great projects. This is the first thing we would send over to them to let them know, here are the projects, here are the summaries, and they may choose your project to feature simply because of this. Kate, anything that I'm missing there with this 100 words or less?
No, I think that's really good. But again, just remember it will be appearing in print. So have some people review it for you, and please use complete sentences.
Right, right. And again, I use Chat GPT, and when I am making the script, if it isn't perfect, I try to run it through there and find something more fun too. Okay, so the next thing you're asked, so that summary is not seen by the judges. So you can say all this wonderful information about your project, it's not going to help with the judges scoring because they don't see it. This can identify a company or people or whatever you want, as long as you have permission. Like I wouldn't identify a homeowner in here without making sure they know it. Okay, project entry PDF presentation link. This is the only thing the judges see. So this portal, once we're ready to go to judging, it's assigned to a judge, and this link is sent to each judge in the panel that's supposed to be reviewing it along with a scoring sheet, okay? So I'm coming here. This is not a this is not a bathroom. I chose a project here from a past entry that I got permission to use. This is a DC project. And so that link takes me over here to a cloud storage platform. In this case, I think it's Drive. I don't see anything identifying the company, and I needed to make sure that that link was unrestricted. So for those of you that don't know, you would come to the share function. You would want to come here to anyone with access. You don't want it to be restricted. Anyone with the link can view the project. You don't want them to edit it or comment. You just want them to view. So you choose that option and you get that link, and then you plop it back over here in AwardForce. Dropbox is sometimes tricky. I have found that sometimes Dropbox does identify the company, even if it's an unrestricted link. We will again check that. We will check each one of these links and make sure the judges can access it. And if there's a problem, we will notify you. And if it does identify your company, we will download the project and upload it into our Drive and make sure that you're not identified. Does anyone so far have questions about the project summary or the presentation link? I'll get into some presentation details next. Awkward wait time. Okay, I'm coming back over to this presentation, and I'm going to show you a few things that I like about it. So your first slide should, I don't know what Upshur Kitchen is. I don't know if that's a street or a region or what.
It's a street, but you
It's
don't
a-
know. because you're a
we-
judge who doesn't know things.
Right. And I'm out of this area typically. Typically, our judges we get from other NARI or pro chapters or people I've met over the years at different events that are in the industry, remodelers, designers, architects, whatever, from other areas. But this is definitely not the homeowner's name. You couldn't do Hubbard Kitchen right here. You would need to identify it. I like to put the category kitchen under, or between 100 and 200,000 or whatever. You have to have the project cost in here and you don't have to have the completion date, but I like that they did that. And they open with this beautiful, engaging, colorful wow shot. Project description, they go in here and these are judging questions that they're literally answering. And instead of taking really detailed architectural plans, which I've seen in a lot of projects, they kind of take this nice little floor plan and they show us the floor plan. I've loved seeing like the existing floor plan next to the new floor plan. It really helps the judges visualize the transformation. Before photos, they show you, this is what that kitchen looked like before, which is very helpful for the judges to visualize, okay, wow, this really was a transformation. Sometimes you'll see, and they may do it here, a small little before photo and the overlaid on top of this photo from the same angle so you can really see, man, look what they did there, or especially if there's a section of the room that is really transformed, a before photo. I encourage people when you are starting a project, go get a ton of photos from every possible angle because sometimes you don't know what's really going to be the wow shot until you're finished. Here they talk about the client's wish list, and then they go into some more detail about the project. So they're getting into the project details here. Functionality is one of the questions that the judges will look at. So they're talking about the client's wants and wish list and what they did to accomplish them. They talk about their design process. Again, there's that before, and they did the opposite. They did a rendering here to show what it would look like after. I might have swapped those. I might have done the before here and the rendering after. So again, they're showing you, here's the rendering and here's what the space finished and actually looked like after. They go into small details, design elements. So this will help the judge answer some of those questions. Man, I wish Cooper, I didn't get permission from Edward until too late to bring in one of yours. Some of the things I think are very helpful are bullets. So if you're answering a question about lighting or flow, literally having some bullets and pointing with arrows to things or having captions under a photo to help the judges understand what that photo is illustrating. I am going to show you one other project that I pulled. Let's see if I can find it. And this is a project, well, let's see, what did I do with it? This one, is that it? This is another winning project, but this is the first page that the judges see. As a judge, I'm judging 15 projects. I get to this and I may actually pass out. So I do not recommend this strategy to put everything here. This might be nice to put at the end so that if you feel like maybe the judges are like, man, I can't remember, did they cover anything about functionality? Well, they can go back and look at it here. I prefer things like this where it's a bullet and they talk about this details here. And there you see the nice before and the beautiful after, and you can see how they've converted this basement project into something amazing. And so they go into different things that they've done here. Again, I would have those judges' questions right over here when I'm creating my project presentation, and I would be answering those on slides. Any questions before I move on about presentation techniques? Okay. If we have time at the end, we can come back to that too. Okay, so the next thing, every entry has to have a photo release. That gives us permission to use those photos to advertise our awards. So,
I'm sorry, I do have a question.
yes, Stacy?
Is there any project that is too small?
No.
Okay.
There's categories and price points to help those smaller projects be competitive with each other. So there might be an element. So Stacy, if there's a painting, you could enter the interior exterior element as a primary entrant if it was just some sort of unique. I've seen this before with another painting company in DC. They did this a beautiful mosaic in I don't remember if it was a guest room or nursery or something, or kids' room, and that was the thing that was entered. But it
Okay,
was in that one category. So if you
okay.
need help selecting a category for something, please let me know.
And we can enter 2 projects for the same category or only
Yes,
one
you
project
can
per?
compete in the same, yes, you can.
Okay,
Yeah, we have a lot of companies that they might have multiple kitchens in the same price point. Yeah.
okay.
Hey, take home the first and the merit and the grand. Woohoo. All right, here we are. So the next thing on this tab that's project details, so we've got our description, our presentation link. You're going to upload a photo release. It tells you click this link to get to the photo release. You download it, you get it signed, and then you come back and you upload it. And it's literally just a click of a button here that looks like that. You can drag it or select it. Okay, but I'm going to cancel it because I've already done it. And then same with the contractor homeowner affidavit. That affidavit means that they're saying, yeah, this was the completion date. This was the project cost without the design fees. And they give their name and phone number and they sign off that they agree to allow it to be submitted. Same with the contractor. There's certain things that you're agreeing to in this document. Same thing. Once you're done, you click here to upload it. The next question is this being entered in a universal design category? If you click yes, oh, where is that? Kate, will you make a note that I need to move or find out where my upload went for universal design? When you click yes, what should happen is what happens here. A checklist area for you to upload comes, okay? So here's the universal design checklist. I would click here, download it, fill it out with all the modifications, same with green, but a lot of projects aren't. So you would just click no and it will get rid of the upload field. But I'm missing my universal design upload field. I got to get that back in there. All right. Then here, do you have pro members who participated on this project with you that you would like to include as a team partner? And you could say yes or no. And if you say no, it removes the team partner upload so you can move on without having to complete that field. But I did. And there's my team partner entry form. I could download that from here. And there's the team partner entry form, but mine would be completed because I've uploaded it. Kate, can you make a note too to add a link to the directory here so people could look up to see if someone was actually a member? All right. Then it goes on, are there subcontractors, suppliers, and professionals who contributed to your project who are not currently pro members that you would like to invite as team members? If you say yes, if you say no, those fields disappear. If you say yes, it gives you an option. You can either manually put in their information or you can upload a form or a sheet, even a Excel document that you have coming out of your builder tread or builder trend. You can put it in here however you want. There's lots of formats that it takes. Okay. So for right now, I'm just going to say no so I can move forward. And then finally, you get to the last tab, which is your logo and photos. So here, the first one, it's asking me for, why are these not telling me what they are? Let's see. It should tell you exactly what you're uploading here, and I'm not sure why these top ones aren't. Something happened in the last migration that happened this week when we brought over user or entries from previous years that have messed up a few things. So we'll start here. This is your before photo. You will upload it, and it tells you what the name of that photo needs to be. So if this is bath under 50, there's a short code, bath under 50 underscore your company name, and then that this is a before. This will help us organize all these photos so that we can quickly use them. So this whole page is a mess for some reason. It was perfect a few days ago when I did my entry, and now it's a mess. If it's going to ask you for things like your best horizontal shot, are we doing it with the logo, Kate? Did I lose everybody or just Kate? Now I'm stressed.
Here I am. Sorry. No, you
Oh,
did. We
okay.
just want one of them with the logo, the horizontal. Yep.
Okay, so you'll, in like a Canva platform or something, or in a photo editor, we want a one shot with your project, with your logo, hopefully in some sort of white space or emptier space, you know? The other shots that you're gonna need one before. You can then say, if you have additional photos, this has all been wiped out in the last migration. I'm gonna have to come back in and reformat it. But this would say, I have one additional photo. If I choose that, it allows me to have one photo to upload. If I have three, it opens up three boxes for me to do this. So I'm going to come back in and fix this right away. I apologize. And so on this screen, each one of the fields will tell you how that photo has to be named. And again, here's the category list, and here are the short codes, which will help us organize these photos. And then finally, I'm coming back over here for a second, and I'm actually going to go to this one because it's all set and ready to go. And I can say, actually, sorry, forgive me. I'm coming back to this one, and I can come down and submit it now. Forgive me, I'm going to copy it real quick because I've already submitted it. So let's see, I'm going to copy it. You won't be doing any of this. I just want you to see the process of what happens when you get done and when you submit. So I've gone through each of these tabs. I'm on this final one, and I'm going to come down and I've done all that I need to do. I'm going to say, submit my entry, and it's going to show me where there's a problem. And so I have to come in and fix whatever. I'm just putting anything in there for right now just to get us through this presentation. I'm putting in the contractor release form. And then no, I'm going to say no here. I've already done that. And now I think I'm ready to go. And if I'm not, it's going to redirect me back to a screen. Yes, I've successfully completed my entry. I can still go back and touch it once I've submitted it. Be careful with that. Make sure you don't accidentally delete or remove anything. But again, you'll get this message, and then you'll get a confirmation email too that tells you that it will be reviewed and you will get an invoice. It may take a little time for that invoice to get to you because the project has to be fully reviewed, and we get a lot at a time. So don't panic. You're not going to miss out on going to judging because of an invoice. We'd like you to get them paid, and we'll get them to you as soon as we can. They'll be in your member portal, but you will not be able to pay in this platform. Woo. All right, folks, we're over time and I apologize. I am going to stop sharing. Come back over and see your little faces. They're probably like, okay. Questions, and if you have to jump, you're welcome to jump, and you can always reach out to me behind the scenes. What questions do you have aside from the messy photos page where you're going to be uploading photos in that platform? Once I fix it in the next hour, it will tell you exactly what type of photo and how to name it.
In monitoring the chat, Lizzie had asked if there was a limit to how many projects somebody can submit.
We do not have a limit in Central Virginia that I know of. In DC, we had 15, but I don't think Central Virginia has a limit. We've never gotten any, like some of our members push that envelope and really are competitive and get some in there. Any other questions? All right.
You were just so thorough.
A lot. This webinar is going to be recorded or has been recorded, and we will post it on our YouTube channel, mistakes and all, fun times. It's always fun to go back and watch yourself on this. And then if you have any questions, I'm not kidding, don't hesitate to reach out. If you need help choosing a category, I'm here to help. We had several first-time entrants last year, and a couple of them won at one level or another. You aren't notified if you win prior to the gala. I did that a couple years ago, and people really did not like being notified ahead of time. So, you have to go to the gala to see if you won. If, however, you reach out to us and you're like, I don't want to pay to bring my entire team to the gala, can you just tell me if we won at any level? We would answer that question for you as a courtesy, so you're not bringing a team of people and paying all that money. I won't tell you what level you won though. We'll just say, yes, I think you should bring your team. Sounds like a great idea. Anyway, all right. I'm going to say that's a wrap for today. But again, put me on speed dial, text me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If I'm not in a meeting or something, I'll answer. Okay? Perfect.
Great job, Ann.